just learning about the product and just saying, hey, put a little bit on in the morning, like you put on some face cream just for you, right? Just so that you can remember and actually have a connection to your pussy, and so that you can have sensation and you can feel your energy and you can feel it isn't even necessarily about sex at that point. It's about feeling good in your body.
Exactly.
And I adore you for your commitment to being comfortable in your own skin. Welcome back to another episode of The Real Undressed. I'm sitting here with the one, the only Bonnie Gayle. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Deborah. I love talking to you about sex.
honey, I love talking about sex, and talking with you about sex is like, it's a good day.
It's always a good day.
So, right. I mean, and that's perfect. Like, let's jump in because we connected over sex. I mean, you created a product called Sex Butter.
Yep.
And I don't even remember who it was that basically put us together, but said, hey, if any two women need to meet, you two women need to meet.
I know. I'm trying to think of how we were introduced also, but it definitely was about the product for sure.
Mm-hmm. And of course, my love and passion
your
for
mojo.
yes, and for supporting women and connecting with their mojo. So how did this come about? I mean, because it's also grown so much since we first met. But let's just start with the genesis of Sex Butter. Yes.
So it's really interesting because Sex Butter, I didn't create it the reason people think I created it. You know what I mean? And I think that I created it out of need, but I wanted to create something out of fun. It turned out to be a super fun product, but I really need the product. So it literally saved my sex life. And I'm not kidding when I say that.
Yeah.
Because when I went into menopause, my biggest issue was vaginally. I had vaginal atrophy. Walking around was painful for me. So having sex was like, I couldn't even think about it for a little while.
It's like, oh, forget it. If walking hurts, then anyway, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So I didn't really know what was wrong with me for a while because I'm not somebody who likes Western medicine much. Eventually, I did go to the doctor and they told me that I had vaginal atrophy. And the answer to relieve the vaginal atrophy was to have sex more often.
Okay. See, look, Western medicine can be great for many things, but to have an answer like that sounds so asinine and fucked up to me. Right? Like, hello, if something's atrophying and I'm in pain just walking, why do I want to be putting anything up inside myself?
Exactly.
Okay, so you were in a pickle. Yes.
So, of course, the first thing I thought about was, well, if I'm going to do that, I have to have lube, right? So now at the time, so this was in like around 2000 and maybe 6 or 5 or 7. So it was a while ago. And I was already eating a lot of organic food at the time, not 100%, but I was close. So I was already aware of ingredients and things like that. So when I started to pick up the lube, the first thing I did is I started looking at the ingredients and I was like horrified. There were things in these lubes that were so toxic and scary that literally would make the whole situation worse. Propylene glycol.
Which is incredibly drying.
Yes.
Right?
Then they have dimethicone. I mean, these are toxic things that literally could cause cancer. Because what's happening is they're putting these kinds of chemicals in your body that your body doesn't know how to get rid of. And so they sit there. So I realized that if I was going to use a lubricant, I was going to have to use something that didn't exist at the time. And I didn't know of anything that did exist that I could use. So at the time, I wasn't aware that people were using, example, coconut oil for lubricants, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that. Eventually, I found out, but by that time, I had already created Sex Butter and coconut oil was in the product, right?
Yeah.
So obviously I was using my product at that point. The other thing is that I found that if you use like very thinning types of lubricants, you don't really get any protection from a soothing standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say even if the product does absorb into your skin, if it does, because like water-based is not going to, right? So if you're using a product that does absorb into your skin, like, is it really good and healthy for the tissue? And is it going to make things better?
Right. To actually rejuvenate and, like you said, soothe and create pleasure and comfort.
Exactly. So I wanted a product that did all of those things. And what I realized is I was going to have to create it. So I worked with a microbiologist who, this is really funny.
I was like, how do you go about even finding a microbiologist?
Oh my God, I know. And that's so funny because I didn't know people that were that developed. You know what I mean? Like, because look, a microbiologist is like a very, that's an intense scientist, really, if you think about it. And I was fortunate. I didn't even know about manifesting or doing things like that at this time. And all I remember was asking for somebody who could help me create this product that I needed to create,
And I think just as a side note, like I want to mention you're a regular, I mean, you've had an extraordinary life in many ways. So let's be clear about that. However, you work in finance at the time, right? It's not like sex was all of a sudden your avocation, your, hobby or anything like this. It was literally, this was built out of a need for you. Right.
Yes.
And it sent you on a journey.
Absolutely.
Which I think is important to point out because again, a way to discover ourselves sexually, right, is a journey.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you found this microbiologist.
So I find the microbiologist and he helps me. Like I tell him all the problems that I want to solve with this product and he creates a product for me. And we went through several evolutions of it to get it just right. Mm-hmm. And then when we got it just right, it was like blew me out of the water. And that's what we have now is this product. And this is just right. So it's got things in it to make you feel your body down there, especially for women who have lost their libido or like they don't feel sexual desire that much. A lot of times when our hormones change, it changes the way that we feel in our bodies.
Absolutely.
And people don't realize that until all of a sudden that day comes and it just happens. And all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I didn't even think about sex for like 3 months. And you're shocked, right?
Absolutely.
Like, oh my God, like what the heck? How did this happen? Because literally you were thinking about it all the time before that.
And of course, and so as women do go through the change, right there, and I think also for women who have also just had babies and all the hormonal shifts that go around in creating a life, and those cycles. But certainly I know, I mean, I've shared this with you and I'm very transparent about my whole experience in general. I started to go through perimenopause in my 30s, right? And ended up healing from that. And now I'm of the appropriate age. And so going through it, and it is fascinating to see the difference of what can happen in terms of your own lubrication, right? And your own desire throughout the course of the month, as opposed to what it might have been, right?
Exactly.
Even a couple of years ago.
Yep.
So first, I'm like, I just want to thank you for creating the product because I know it has helped so many people. I remember when I first tried, like I didn't quote need it, when I first met you. But let me tell you something. I mean, I'm a big fan of using it for self-pleasure. Number one. And number two, it's great when you're with a partner also for, for pussy massage. I mean, it's just, it's better than any lube particularly I think for pussy massage. And, obviously it's quite delicious for sex as well. It helped heal you.
Yes.
You grew the business. I mean, to this wonderful extent. I'm interested, before we talk about other people's results, the resistance that you came up against, and maybe still do, about the name and how you've marketed it, because I think that speaks to also where we're at as a culture and in our society around sex.
So I have had huge challenges with the name and marketing it. I cannot really market it on social media for the most part because of the name. And the name's already out there and it's been out there for a while. So I'm probably going to have to launch it under a different name eventually, which I am planning on doing, that will be completely unrelated to the word sex. Like it will not even have anything like that in it. It'll be for a different purpose. And because I literally am having problems even having gynecologists recommend it because of the name. Now, here's the interesting thing. So I have another product, Boudoir butter, which is the same product as sex butter without the tingly mixture, which we actually created because people asked us for it.
I was like, so let's just pause for one moment and just talk about the tingly nature.
Yes, because I love the tingly nature. I'm a sex butter girl all the way.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And so why the decision to have a tingle? And it's real. Describe it for the listeners, because I mean I know what it feels like.
So to me, it feels like a tickle, and then as your body starts feeling everything, it's like it's bringing energy to the area, so you become more and more sensitive, and it really helps push you over the edge easier. So if you're somebody who has challenges having orgasm or even getting to the point of arousal, sex butter makes it so much easier. Oh my God, it's just like night and day.
Well, is it because it's working with also activating
nerve regeneration
and activating blood vessels as
so
well?
Yes, so it's opening up the blood flow, focusing the blood flow to the area, and activating nerve regeneration.
Yeah, the way I've described it is like it's almost like this like minty, kind of cool like tingle that that sex butter gives you. Mm-hmm. It feels really good.
I love it.
It feels really
telling
good.
you, like,
okay.
Having sex without it is like a whole different world to me now.
And do you have sex without it? Or no, never.
I tried it and I didn't like it, so no.
Yeah,
it's a requirement.
Like, by the way, to be with me, here's the deal.
Exactly.
I have a feeling that most partners
there's a threesome here.
Yeah, I would say, venture to guess that like I don't think a partner is going to have a problem with that.
Nope.
Like for that request, yeah, I think everybody could be on board with that.
Well,
but so to go back to the difficulty and the kickback in terms of the name, right? Has that alleviated at all over the years, or is it still
Nope.
No?
It's gotten worse because
really
because the word sex has become a more challenging name for those people that really didn't like it before. So I feel like it has gotten worse, and which is why I'm going to do what I'm going to do, because I feel like everybody should have access to the product. And if the only thing that's turning you off is a name, okay, let's fix that. It's not a big deal.
I mean, I know I don't want to take a total hard turn down this road, but why, in your experience of life, what do you see in people in terms of the difficulty and the real challenge and refusal to be comfortable, just even like a little bit comfortable with sex? Shame.
Sexual shame. Even when I first came out with it, my mom did not like the name. She had a very hard time with it. I was criticized by a lot of people. Like, what are you doing? Especially because I was working in the world of finance, right? So here I'm working in this very traditional business because I was doing bookkeeping and business management. That's all very, very traditional. Mm-hmm. And then you come out with a product named Sex Butter. It's like, it's like you're right. So it's like kind of in your face. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's the issue is that everybody had, is that I was like literally shoving it in their face.
And was in any way creating this product a way for you to also feel more confident and comfortable in your own body and move through any of your, because look, I feel like we all have sexual shame on some level, right? Whether it prevents us from doing something or not.
It's interesting that you asked that. So I'll tell you what I think. So I did a lot of work on myself about the sexual shame, but I feel that energetically and in my cellular body, I feel that some of the issues that I had in menopause were caused by the shame, like the shame sitting in my cellular memory, not in my head, but in my physical body.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because then later I did stuff to have that cleared out of there. So yeah, I definitely think that I had remnants of sexual shame when I was in the development of this product for sure.
And what a gorgeous thing, not only to do for yourself, right? And then to be able to give this to so many other people to support, well, I think it's really women and men. You know, I mean, it's a product that can be used by both, yes?
And cancer survivors. Because,
Oh, yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
because when women go through chemotherapy, especially for female cancers, whether it's breast or ovarian or whatever,
uterine, yeah.
cervix, uterine, you get the same thing that happens as when you go into menopause.
Right.
And it's, and it's harsh because it's being done by chemicals and it's overnight. And when I went into a traumatic menopause, it was like the same thing. It was like overnight harshness. So, so even helping that community, because nobody's making products for them to help them feel better. And look, they still want to have good sex lives too.
Absolutely. One of my closest friends, I was with her, during her whole process of chemo and all that. And I remember she would say, hey, I want to feel pleasure. Like everything is so challenging right now. Like I want to feel that and have that experience for sure. Which is so interesting that, pleasure is so demonized and sex is still so demonized it's particularly in our culture in America.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about the pleasurable things. So share with us a little bit about just some of the great things that have happened for people and for you as you've, launched this product into the world and what's happened for some of the sex butter users.
Well, okay, so I don't know about a lot of people because a lot of people don't talk about their sex lives with me, but I do have like feedback from people where they were so grateful, right? And so one of my favorite stories I like to tell was the cancer survivor who basically was the impetus for me deciding that I was going to take this as a public product instead of just having something created and use it for myself. Because initially I wasn't really thinking, oh, I want to like market this big thing and do that whole thing because that's a lot of work. And when it's very different from what you're doing and what it's like you're throwing yourself into a whole new world. And trust me, I did throw myself into a whole new world.
And it's a whole business. I mean, it's not like, oh, this is a little side gig. It's like, no, this is a business unto itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and you have to do a lot of things for it. And it's expensive to do also because you have inventory and you have to keep track of it. And, inventory only lasts for a certain amount of time. So when you use products and you're making really good, luscious ingredients, these products aren't going to last forever and ever sitting on the shelf. So you're making small batches and you're doing things. So you're constantly involved in this. So this person literally told me that she was unable to have sex for 5 years. She was married since she had chemotherapy for ovarian cancer 5 years prior. Wow. And she was in remission, but walking around was painful, but I didn't even know that at the time. So when I first had the cream created, when I was talking to her, I said to her, look, I'm going to send you some of this product that I had made for me. I don't know what it's going to do or not, if it's going to be good, but I want you to try it and I'm going to tell you how to use it. And if you're open to doing this, like, I'll experiment with you. And she was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. So I did. I sent her some of the product and I was telling her what to do. And I told her, I don't want you to have sex no matter what for a week while you're doing what I'm telling you, because we need to prepare the area because it's been a long time. So she was using just literally like a pea size of sex butter morning and night every day. And finally, after a week, they were able to consummate and she had pleasure and she had an orgasm and everybody was happy.
Yay.
And like literally it saved her sex life and her marriage because they were on the verge of about to get divorced.
Well, 5 years without being intimate is really difficult.
So it was a big deal. So they both call me crying. So I was like, oh my God. So usually I don't get those kinds of calls, but I get emails like, oh my God, thank you so much. You don't understand what you have done for me. Like the difference, just even when people aren't walking around in pain all day, just the difference in how they feel is incredible.
Yes.
And I know for myself, like literally when I was in that pain, I was using sex butter every single day myself whether I was having sex or not, just to feel good, because the difference was drastic.
Well, and that's one of the things that you said, I remember, that really moved me in terms of when, just learning about the product and just saying, hey, put a little bit on in the morning, like you put on some face cream just for you, right? Just so that you can remember and actually have a connection to your pussy, and so that you can have sensation and you can feel your energy, and you can feel it isn't even necessarily about sex at that point. It's about feeling good in your body.
Exactly.
And I adore you for your commitment to being comfortable in your own skin, because that's also something that I know you're passionate about, and you have done and gone to great lengths, to take workshops and do things and, and learn about yourself. And I'm interested to know, and what you can share with us about that, how that process has, what it's done for you. Like, I am assuming like the word liberation is in there.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to put any more words in
body liberator.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, liberation.
Exactly. So, what that whole, I feel like it's been about, at least this conscious piece for you, it's been about 10 years, 10, 11 years.
Yeah, it started in, let's see. So I could say it started in 11.
Okay. Yeah. So, coming up closer to a decade, right? Of like, 11 years.
No, since 2011.
Okay. So yeah, so a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And how have things on like the inner landscape of you shifted by, really being on this conscious journey to be in your body, to be a sensually and sexually expressed woman who knows what she wants? What has that been like?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I have to say it's been over the top amazing. And to understand where I came from, okay, I was bulimic from the age of 16 to 28 years old, 29, and I almost died at the age of 28. And I was a compulsive overeater. And so I went through like phases of that. So I've been, as high as 175 and as low as 106. And it's not about the number. It's about how you feel in your skin. Because I will tell you that journey that almost killed me in certain ways. And you know what? I did purge a lot of myself because I had a lot of anger. I was very angry growing up. And so I had a lot of purging to do. And I think that was all part of my purging process. But when I got to the other side of it, because I literally got to the point of where I was so tired and exhausted. When I got to the other side of it, it took me about 12 to 13 or 14 years to really heal my body from that. And then the mental work started, right? Okay. And so literally, but here's the funny thing. I was in a medium circle the other night. And the first thing the guy said to me is, do you have any body image issues? And I started laughing my head off because I was like, oh my God, not anymore, but I used to. And, and I was so proud to say that. And it was like so easy for me to say. I didn't even have to think about it. It was like, and if you would have said that to me, 10 or 12 years ago, I would have clammed up and it was like not even, I really don't care. And I don't think anything about it. And I don't care what people think about me anymore either. It's very, very different.
So that's interesting. So to have that kind of self-governance where it's like, and not in a way of like, fuck you, I don't care. I get that. I get that's, like that. I get that's not where you're coming from, but I want to just state that and be clear about that. Where you can say, I'm so good with myself that anything that is out there, it's just out there, right? And it doesn't affect you anymore.
Right.
And that came as this byproduct of you, getting comfortable in your own skin, but also really doing that through your own sexuality. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Yes.
It's
the sexual piece was super, uber important. And I will tell you that, like, I had a lot of sexual body work to work out the stuff because I was raped. I had a stalker. I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, you got to clear that stuff out, because how are you going to be open to receive if you don't?
So, okay, sexual body worker. Now, some listeners might not be aware, familiar with that, right? And I will be talking to some on this podcast. But share a little bit more about like what that actually is, because I think that can maybe confuse some folks out there.
So you can go to a licensed, trained professional where they will actually help you get pleasure. And so I know of a retreat that I go to where every day, part of the retreat is that you're actually getting sexual body work. And it really is to help you learn to have pleasure in your body, to enjoy your body, to appreciate your body. Like, do you know, we don't appreciate our bodies at all. Most of us.
Well, I was like
women.
Yeah.
Most women.
I'm on a rampage
Right.
to change that.
Right. That we need to change that. But like, if you think about it, like what percentage of the female population is comfortable in their body? 2%.
I know it breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart. Yeah.
And 80 to 90% hate their bodies.
Yeah.
You know, I used to coach in body image, so I know and I remember, and I even coached men in body image, but women are much more tied to the body image than men are. Men are more tied to money or lack of it, and women are more tied to what they look like.
So I love this. And first of all, how great is that, that there's retreats out there and people who do this. I also had some sexual body work done a number of years ago now, and it was such a game changer. Because at that point, I thought I knew myself pretty well.
And then you learn what you really don't know.
Yeah,
right?
and then you're like, I had no idea that part of my vagina could feel so good, right? I mean, you literally find these different spots in these different places in yourself. And while I'm curious to know what you think about that, I do believe that you can discover a lot of that in solo practice and solo play. What are your thoughts on that?
You definitely can, but I'll tell you, there are things that I think make it easier because of positioning and angles and stuff like that, when somebody is actually working on you, especially for deeper work. Like, let's say you want to do cervical massage and stuff like that. Like that, that's really hard to do yourself, I think.
Yeah, depending on, of course, your shape and how long your fingers are, what toys you have.
Yeah. So for certain types of things, I think that a body worker is incredible. The other thing is, sometimes we can tend to get into patterns where we're doing like the same thing a lot. And so they can actually teach you different kinds of things that you never thought about.
Yes.
So it's like variety is the spice of life.
Right. Right. Yeah, of course, because we all get into our own thing. It's like, oh, here's the thing that I know that gets me off. So let's just go there. Let's kind of do it. And,
Right.
And that also, it conditions our bodies.
Exactly.
Right. And no matter what it is, whether it's, food or a certain, sex position or sex technique.
Yep.
It's really critical to change things up.
Yep.
So that, in my opinion, so you can have a richer, fuller, more delicious experience in life overall.
Absolutely. And every time that I work with body workers, I learn more about myself. And so I've been doing this now since 2012 or 13. Okay. And so I've had quite a few experiences. And I will say that it has really changed my solo practice in a huge way, more so than sex with partner, because it's one-sided touch. Okay. So that's where we get to be in all the pleasure, and they're basically there for us, which usually as women, we do the opposite. We're all about the guy, and then we don't get taken care of ourselves, except for me because I'm selfish.
Well, no, you become a good receiver.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know what? And when I say selfish, I am proud. Like, I don't say it in a bad way.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. Because I'm going to make sure I get my needs met, and then I'm going to make sure you get yours met too. Yes. We're both going to be happy at the end of it.
So, like, the way to be.
But if I don't get my needs met, I'm not excited to help you get yours met either.
Well, and say more about that. Is like giving play of for you for energy or?
Well, so for me, like the way unless like, okay, so there are times that I like to do one-sided touch where I don't even want you to touch me. I just want to take care of you the whole time, right? And then there are other times when I like to be touched that way too, where I don't have to think about what I need to do to you, because I can be more in my body and experience more just by focusing on my body myself.
Yes.
So, so I like to have the variety. Sometimes it's everything. We're all doing everything together. Sometimes you're focused on me. Other times I'm focused on you. And I think that even those kinds of experiences bring us into deeper capacity. Like I can give you a deeper experience focused on you for a long period of time than if we're doing something together simultaneously at the same time, right? And the same thing for me. Women take 20 to 40 minutes to warm up usually.
Yeah.
You know, right? Most times, if you think about it, right, most people are not even having sex for 20 minutes. They're probably having sex for 5 or less.
I know.
So how much are you really getting your needs met, right? Unless you have sex better. Okay? You know what I mean? And
then sometimes
the reason I say that
yeah.
is because this makes everything faster for the women. It's easier.
It heightens it, yeah.
And it heightens the sensation. But really and truly, we want everybody to win, right? And so if I'm happy, I'm going to be more wanting to make you happy. And I think that that's just a natural feeling in life about everything, not just sex.
Sure.
Like if I'm happier, if I'm happy in a relationship, I want you to be happy too. And I'm going to, and I'm going to do things to help create that.
And so when it comes to this, hello, so many puns. Communication is what's coming up in my mind, right? So do you clearly communicate with your partner then? Say, hey, I would like now this to be kind of focused all on me. And then, we can swap. So there is clear communication. Oh, yeah. Instead of like the guesswork.
Yeah. No, because that's not fair.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, so it's clear communication, okay, so right now I have a lover that doesn't live in LA. So I tease him when I know he's coming in town, right? So we have sex texts and stuff like that all the time. And, and so if I'm feeling like I want to only be taken care of, I won't do that on the first night because that's not fair to him. But, maybe I'll do that on like night 3.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And I love the reminder, right? The communication, of course, is key in general overall, but it's so easy to go out the window in the bedroom for people, right? Because again, the concern or the fear of asking for our needs in a way that is related to sex, right?
And that's scary for a lot of people.
It's really, it is. And so we're here to remind you it's totally okay and you have permission to ask for what you want.
And they love it. Yes. Oh my God, your partner is going to love it. Like it's a turn on to him.
I think, whether it's a him or her or whoever.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, whoever you're choosing to enjoy yourself with. I think, like you were saying, overall, we want to please each other. And, and especially in bed. I mean, sure, there are people out there who are selfish and it's like, what I call friction fucking and, just getting it done.
Right.
But let's put that aside because I'm an advocate for people to truly get their needs met. And there's nothing wrong with a friction fuck if that's what you want, everybody.
Right.
Okay. So just, again, know what you want.
No judgment here.
Yeah. Just know what you want and then be able to communicate that. Right.
Yep.
That's a whole other topic. Okay, so when it comes to the use of self-pleasuring, how does that either inform or infuse your day-to-day? And what happens actually when you find that you don't?
When I don't self-pleasure?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good, okay. So I have a really great practice. I think you're going to love this. It's a morning practice, and I actually learned it from going to my sexual retreats. And I have a thing where the way that I start my day is with pleasure. Mm-hmm. And so for me, starting my day with a little bit of sex butter and self-pleasuring is the way that I start my day. And so while I'm actually self-pleasuring, I'm thinking about all the pleasure, and I'm infusing the pleasure into everything that I'm going to do that day. So like I'm thinking about all those things. Like, so I kind of like go and I look at my calendar first, and then I come back and I'm like, okay, these are the things that I'm going to be working on today. And so like first I get into my body and focus on that. And then, well, you know, when I'm in my pleasure state, then I'm like literally, and girls love circles, right? So what am I doing? I'm literally putting the energy, I'm infusing the energy into my body that I'm going to have a really good day.
Well, and you know, this is so cool. You've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Yeah. Okay. So chapter 11, it's all about the transmutation of our sexual energy. And that's what you're talking about. That's what you're doing. And again, people have I've heard so much sort of pushback and resistance about that chapter too. And yet our sexual energy, which is life force, which is chi, which is mojo. I was just doing a video on this before you got here. I mean, that's something I've been talking about for decades now.
Oh, yeah.
But, and it's just to be able to get comfortable with that. And I love that you are utilizing it from the get-go when, you start your day of putting that energy into what you're creating. Mm-hmm. Because it is the creative life force. And everybody, listeners, like, I'm not interested in getting some, bashed, texts or DMs or whatever. But here's the thing. Sexual energy is not the same thing as sex. Right? You agree?
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, and I think for the most part, so many people are having sex without their sexual energy present.
Right. Most people, I would say.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second, because I think that's a little good side street to go down for a moment. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what's the difference to you between the sexual energy and
just having sex without it? Let's see. So it would be like the difference between going to a black tie dinner dressed up in all the right attire or walking in sweats and having everybody stare at you. You know what I mean? Like it's night and day. I mean, it's just, there's no comparison. Because like for me, if I don't have my sexual energy in the game, I'm not interested. Like I'm not in it. So I could be laying there like a dead fish. I could, you know what I mean? I could just be barely engaged.
It's like going through the motions.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I concur. It's like there's this going through the motions, or there's the real like channeling and feeling. And like, again, it's life force. It is that creative energy of the universe that moves through our bodies.
And whomever you're with knows, like they know the difference. That's the whole thing is like, so if you're not putting your energy into it, they're probably not doing much either, and nobody's happy. So why are you even doing it?
Right. And that, I mean, there's no connection at all. I mean, and again, whether you're in a relationship or you're having a fling.
Right. I mean, I've had many flings. So it's not, for me, it's not like, I'm not saying you have to be married to have great sex. You don't.
No.
You just have to have a connection and openness, both people.
Yeah. And I think a willingness to let that life force come up through you to be shared.
Yep.
Right. Because first, and I think and I love that this is your practice in the morning, because it's like, first get comfortable with your own sexual energy. Right. And moving that through your body and feeling it in your own system.
Exactly.
Because then when there's another person around, it's not such a shock to the system. Right. Yeah.
Now, I've done this whether I was in a relationship or not. So, and the reason that I'm saying that is because being in a relationship doesn't replace self-pleasuring, because it's different. It's not the same. And it's you with your energy. And so like, so like what you were talking about, I like to call sex magic sometimes.
Yes.
So, and I like to use sex magic. Like to me, sex magic has birthed a lot of things. It's birthed a lot of ideas. It's birthed money. It's birthed all kinds of things. And actually right now I'm working on, it's birthing my next relationship, and he's almost here. And I know it.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't physically seen him, I know it.
You can feel it.
I can feel it. And you've known me for a long time, Deborah. Have you ever heard me say this before? Never. I feel like I'm literally birthing the love of my life.
Oh my God, I'm so
I
excited
swear.
for you.
And I've never, ever said that.
Yeah, and I can see it in you, actually. I really can. It's beautiful.
And I have chills now.
Yeah. Yeah, so yummy. So yummy. Oh my God. Okay, sex better, sex better, sex better. All right, well, what do you, oh God, I could talk to you forever. What do you wish that women would know about, like, I feel like there's sort of two sides of the fence, right? There's the fence, the one side where you're disconnected. Let's just call it the disconnected side. And then there's the other side, which is the connected side. And sometimes, a lot of the time actually, because of all the women I work with as well, I see this. That fence can be the scariest thing that you ever encounter. So what's something that you wish women would know about the connected side of the fence?
That's a good question.
To make the leap over it more enticing and give them a little extra strength.
Once you take that leap, there's no going back, because you wouldn't even want to. You wouldn't even consider it. Like, literally the other side is so drastically different that I'm shaking right now because, like, literally there's no way you'd want to go back. There's nothing to go back to. You get so much more fulfillment on the other side. That's what it is. And it's self-fulfillment too, because you're coming into your own, right? So you're birthing yourself.
Yes.
And that's a really beautiful thing that you can't really compare to anything else.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying is also there's a real sense of confidence, right? And that self-assuredness.
Yes.
That translates into every part of your life. Oh, I love that. Thank you. That was a beautiful analogy.
And how you feel, it makes you feel differently, and it's not an ego thing. This is not like, oh, I'm so great. It's not like that. It's like, that you can do anything that you put your mind to, like, it. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to have challenges along the way, because of course we are. But you know what? Like, and that if there's something that's fulfilling for you, that you're going to go after it. Like, you just do, because when you're on the other side, you're going to go after and do anything that's going to be bettering for you. So that's the thing, is once you start bettering yourself, there is no going back, because you don't want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Okay. I have 2 questions, which are signature questions of the podcast. And there are many answers to this. All right. So the first question is, of all the things, what's one thing that will consistently, like, tune you in to your spirit or higher self, however you relate to that?
Okay, so I'm in mediumship training right now.
Ooh.
So I am heavily into this right now. I will always be connected to source. I will practice on a regular basis. I enjoy it. I'm already using my gifts in my business and in my personal life and in everything that I do. And I think that I was somebody who was not religious at all growing up. And I feel more spiritually connected today than I ever have in my entire life. And it isn't about religion. And I am so grateful, because I'm the only person in my entire family that can connect with my mom because of my spirituality. So I have really chosen a path where I will always be connected to my higher guides.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. I love that. And is there like one thing though that just will consistently, like, in a moment go, okay, like, I'm tuned in? Or is it
meditation? Usually
meditation. Okay, cool. And of the many things, what's one thing that will always turn you on?
Sex butter.
Right. I was like, I heard that in my head. I was like, that's got to be the answer. Oh my goodness, Bonnie Gayle. I love you so much. I really do. And I really just, again, I want to acknowledge you for the woman that you are and the woman that you consistently, become, and for being really awake on this path and being such a bright light for so many other women and men to be able to have pleasure, and that you've created a product, that just really has transformed so many people's connection to themselves and to their partners. So thank you so much for who you be. I'm a fan. All right, everybody. This has been another episode of The Real Undressed, and I'm Deborah Kagan. We'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now.